So every time that either one of us are out at a bar or restaurant, we order an espresso martini, we are instantly texting each other, not with the restaurant, but just a picture of the espresso martini. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to For Real Estate. I'm Sammy and Lubeck.
And I'm Rebecca Pesche, and we are keeping it real in real estate with our first ever For Real Estate podcast.
So hopefully you are either listening to this on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or you might be watching us on YouTube. And I gotta say, get ready to follow us, get ready to like, share, review, do everything so we can keep it more real.
Right, keep bringing you podcasts like this one. Why are we doing a podcast, Sammy?
Okay, first off, there really aren't too many good real estate podcasts out there. So you might need, something new. But when it comes down to it, back in the day, there used to be a Sunday paper. Is there still a Sunday paper?
There is, and the only reason I know that is because my 97-year-old grandmother still gets it.
Okay.
In particular, she likes to pay attention to the real estate section, which is a very common thing for a lot of people over the years, right? You sat down, Sunday paper, you passed around the real estate section because maybe it had recent listings in your neighborhood, somebody recently sold, ooh, who's moving, who'd they hire, how much are they selling for, right? It was a little bit of a way to unite everyone.
It did cater to everybody, people that were looking to buy, people that were in the industry, just everybody had a common interest in real estate. And there's kind of a reason why there are so many real estate reality shows.
Well, listen, I think everyone needs a home, right? Everyone needs a roof over their head. We need shelter. So it is something that connects us all and unites us. Everyone has or needs a home. So real estate is something that on some level, everyone's talking about.
Without a doubt. So we want to tell you a little bit about ourselves as we get ready to entertain you for years to come.
Hopefully.
Without a doubt.
All right. So again, I'm Rebecca Pesche. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for listening. I have been in residential real estate for 17 years here in Chicagoland.
Just like me.
Just like you. Yeah. I am a native here to Chicago in the suburbs. Longtime listener, new subscriber. Is that how they say that?
Whatever.
Anyway, I'm married, mother of 3, huge dog lover. You may see me around the neighborhood walking my big burly Bernese mountain dogs. I'm a killer canasta partner. I'm a big foodie, and I love to travel.
Okay.
Follow that up.
Wow. Well, I definitely love to travel. I'm definitely not a foodie. I don't eat any fruits or vegetables unless they're in my soup. I eat carbs and protein, and look at me now.
Like a toddler.
Yeah.
Like a toddler.
I got the palate of a 6-year-old boy, and I love it. What can I say? Other than that, I've also been selling real estate for about 17 years, mostly residential, but I also do commercial. I'm licensed in Arizona, and I am known as Chicagoland's real estate agent. So, what can I say? Other than that, I love to play basketball and poker. I played in the 2017 main event at the World Series of Poker. I know I'm special. What can I say? But I really do love real estate, which led us to do this podcast together. But really, why else are we doing this podcast together?
Well, we have a lot of fun together. I think that's first and foremost. I think you and I both keep it very real with each other.
Absolutely.
We used to work for the same brokerage here in Chicago, which is how we originally met. I moved on to other opportunities.
I was so sad when she left.
Oh, devastated. Devastated. But we did still keep in touch, and every once in a while got together for lunch over cheesecake. Listen, it's going to sort of betray the earlier statement I said about being a foodie when I tell you that we used to meet up at the Cheesecake Factory. But frankly, geographically speaking, it was between the two of us. And who doesn't love a good slice of cheesecake?
She's obsessed.
Yeah. Adam's peanut butter fudge ripple.
I go with the Hershey's. But we digress.
Anyway, so one day we're at Cheesecake Factory talking shop. I think I had just gotten back from spring break in Arizona. I think maybe you were on your way out there to visit some friends. And we were commenting on how gorgeous the real estate is out there and why the weather, why aren't we doing real estate in Arizona? And that sort of birthed this, maybe this is where we can partner up in Arizona.
So sure enough, a couple months later, we were working on getting our real estate licenses in Arizona. I will never forget the day that we actually took the test together She was pretty confident about passing the test, and I was not as confident.
I knew you could do it. You were just in your own head. But again, keeping it real with you, we were going to do this, and we were going to kill it, and we were going to crush it, and we were going to move on to bigger and better things together, like this podcast.
And we passed that test the first time, just so you know.
I never had a doubt.
Just so you know.
The other thing that unites us a little bit, and for those of you who might be watching this on YouTube, I'm going to describe to you the drinks that Sammy and I have in our hands. This is another thing that truly bonds us. Cheers, my friends. Espresso martinis. This sort of came about when we were doing some work in Arizona, getting our license, working out there a little bit together, and we stopped for brunch, cocktail, I can't remember.
It was happy hour somewhere.
Sure. At the Henry in Phoenix, one of our favorite places in the Phoenix and Scottsdale area.
So I was drinking an espresso martini, and her eyes were immediately glued to it, and she was curious.
What is that?
You usually drink wine. What are you doing drinking a martini? So I decided to slide my espresso martini over to Rebecca, and immediately she took a sip. I created a monster.
Yeah, I was hooked. In fact, so hooked that now it has been my journey in life ever since that point here back in Chicago to find an espresso martini as good as the one we had at the Henry. And if you see me out and about, maybe at a bar or a restaurant, I'll probably have an espresso martini in front of me. No judgment, but my point is that I'm on the quest to replicate that espresso martini one cocktail at a time.
So every time that either one of us are out at a bar or restaurant, we order an espresso martini, we are instantly texting each other, not with the restaurant, but just a picture of the espresso martini.
Yeah, it's true. If you look at our feed, actually, I did this the other day. It is just like talk, picture of an espresso martini. Talk, espresso martini. And it's always, that sounds great. Where you at? So if you have a local business or a bar around here that serves an espresso martini, or you know of one, hit us up at forrealestatepodcast@gmail.com. We're going to be bringing future podcasts to you on location with the best espresso martinis. So give us your feedback. We'd love to hear about it.
Without a doubt. So once again, we're partnering up with those great local businesses to start in Chicago and Arizona before we take this national.
Well, obviously that's the goal. I think the other thing it's important to explain to our listeners at home, Sammy, is what can they expect in future podcasts?
Without a doubt. Naturally, we're focusing on real estate. So we're going to be looking at, newsworthy stories naturally. We're going to be looking back at 2023, ahead to 2024 with the market, what to expect. We're going to be interviewing some other industry leaders and titans or friends of ours that are qualified to, that are going to bring some fun to the podcast.
Yeah.
We're also going to be talking about magical properties that you find in TV shows, and movies. Just iconic real estate properties.
And I think one of the things I love to talk about the most is the difference between reality real estate television and what actually happens. So when you watch those TV shows where they pick 3 properties and decide on one, that's not really what happens, folks. So let us take you behind the curtains and let you tell you how this really works. Because we've been doing this a long time. We've got a lot of stories to share. We've met a lot of really great people in this business, brokers, clients, vendors, inspectors, the list goes on. Don't worry, we're not going to out anybody on this
Definitely
podcast.
not.
Sorry if you're shaking in your boots right now, folks. We're not going to name names unless we bring you on the podcast and then you can out yourself. But this is a really fun industry and we have a really great time. And we keep it real. We keep it real with each other. We keep it real with other brokers and our clients. And we just really love the real estate industry. We've got the gift of gab.
And this podcast is here to entertain you. So if you have ideas of where you want to see us take this podcast, once again, reach out for realestatepodcast@gmail.com. That's FOR realestatepodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. So folks, thanks for listening to our introductory podcast here. Hope we see you along the way in all of our future podcasts because we're going to have some fun together.
Without a doubt. Get ready. Once again, like, share, review, do everything you can to help us keep it real with real estate.
See y'all. Let's do it.
What's going on, everybody? Wait. Okay.
Now let's do it.
Can I talk?
Yes.
Outtakes.
Do it again.
Okay. Okay, cool.